Welcome as we continue our study of Colossians in chapter 4. We're going to finish up tonight with verse 17 and 18. And say to Archippus, look to the ministry which you received in the Lord, that you may fulfill it. So look is blepo, and it's generally translated as to see or to discern. It's one of several words that can be used for see. But it has a little bit more intensity to it, and so often it's translated as behold, or beholding, beheld, something like that. Heed, you see that as well, 6 times as heed. And so while it is to look or to perceive as something, it can be translated that way. It does have a nuance of maybe a little more intensity, maybe giving full attention to something, and it's similar to how we would to say to make sure you look after something or someone, that you're being sure not just to look at them, but to give them a great deal of attention, or that thing a great deal of attention. Um, and then ministry is diaconia, which comes from the word diakonos, which is where we get deacon. And so remember, in its original usage, we've seen this word. It really was used of a table waiter, so some sort of attendant or servant. But the way it's used in a New Testament, and again, this is where we get the word deacon. It's really used more of a role in ministry, so some kind of active ministry, service to God in some way, or service to the church, say one and the same. Um, and so that may be a formal role or an informal role. But diaconia really is some service or ministry that Archippus has been given. And it says he received it from the Lord. And receive is paralambano. We've seen this before as well. And so it's lambano, which is to take, and para is near, so to take near. And so it's a little bit more intense than just receiving. There's a certainly more active component to it. Um, so while the Lord has given it to him, Archippus has drawn it near to himself. Um, and that's the active part. That you may fulfill it, and fulfill is pleroo, which we've seen before. We use the analogy of the pitcher or the vessel being filled with cherry Kool-Aid, to really understand, like bringing it to full completeness, and making sure that it brings forth all of the characteristics that it should be, that should be brought forth from the filling object. But again, really just that it's brought to full completeness. And then verse 18, the greeting by my hand, Paul, remember my bonds, grace be with you, and amen. So, greeting, we just saw. The root here is aspasmos. And we can try that again. Aspasmos, which is the root that we've seen used in all of the other commands to greet here. You see that in verse 15 and on up from there. And then greeting by my hand, just he's emphasizing that he is the one who wrote the letter. Remember is memonio, and this is where we get the word, well, I'm not going to say for sure, but it looks a lot like memory. And so I would assume this is where we get the word memory. I would have to verify that, but it does look a lot like it, so I would be surprised if it's not. And it really just means to be mindful of something, to call it to mind, keep it in mind. So keep in mind my bonds. Grace is charis, that's unmerited favor. And then something we haven't seen is amen, and it's a word we're all familiar with, but I think that it is important to draw some attention to the fact that it really means, when it's used at the end of a phrase, it means let it be, may it be fulfilled, so be it. And so it's a really powerful word. So really appreciate you watching the videos of this series, and I hope that you've enjoyed.